7 months ago, I moved to Thailand. Let's talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will land soon. Please fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
Our initial flight into the country and straight into quarantine. I immersed into the local culture.
ของดื้อตื่นนะครับไม่กด
I even bought an ATV. I spent countless hours in nature, which, as you guys know, is my happy place, and we had many animal encounters. And we even got ourselves some new pets. We got away for a side trip to Koh Tao, where I got recertified in scuba, and I spent hours snorkeling and really just forgetting about the whole global situation. And it was all great and mostly pretty amazing, but there were some major adjustments to be made. So as you can see, we've had a pretty amazing last 7 months. Last October, I retired from my regular job, and in December, only 2 months later, I was already here in Thailand. So I was not only adjusting to living in Thailand, but I was also adjusting to being retired. It's a huge difference not having to wake up at 3:30 in the morning in the dark and, switching to all of a sudden just kind of waking up whenever you wake up. If the light comes, the sun comes up outside and then you just kind of casually open your eyes and wake up. That was a huge change for me. Not only that, it was a bit of not feeling productive because I'm no longer working. So that was a huge change. I am usually that guy that is always being productive, always in the hustle, always in the grind. And all of that stuff really slowed down a lot. DM Exotics, my business, has kept me pretty busy, but obviously nowhere near as busy as I was before doing that and working full time. So I've tried to maintain a schedule, try to still go to bed early, wake up early, and be productive and that sort of thing. But it has been a huge adjustment just to the fact of being retired. On top of that, living over here, it has been a lonely feeling at times, away from my family. Don't really speak English that much to anybody. The only person here that speaks English is Apple, and she's always really busy with her family. So a lot of alone time. And so all of that combined with being retired and everything else, it was, it took a lot of adjustments during that period of time. So there was kind of some down days and whatnot, but I have that gym. That gym is absolutely vital to my mental health. Every day I wake up early every morning, I go into that gym and I hit it. And that is an amazing tool that I use to just keep my head straight and just sort of keep a schedule and maintain a routine and that sort of thing. So that has been absolutely amazing. So what is Thailand like? I have been here so many times, I can't even count, for sure over 60 times. So I already had a really good taste of Thailand. I already knew quite a lot about the country and what it was like. But of course, living here is a little bit different, but the people are great. The lifestyle is fantastic. The cost of living is low. The food is good. All of that stuff is great. I already knew what I was getting into, but I really like it, and I have no regrets for that. Now, officially here in Thailand, obviously I am a foreigner, and if you come over here and you expect to be treated special, it's not going to happen. if you're an expat and you're living in like an expat community and you're kind of mixing in the bars and clubs and all that sort of thing with Thai people, yeah, you'll probably be treated somewhat special because you have money or you're considered wealthy or something along those lines. But if you come here to Thailand and you're kind of living rural like we are, and you expect to be treated special, especially by the government, that is not going to happen. The opposite is going to happen. For me, many times, I feel like a second or third class citizen living here. The immigration rules are very, very strict. I have to check in every 90 days. Every foreigner has to do an immigration check-in every 90 days. They have an app. You're supposed to be able to do that online. Does the app work? No. How long has it been down for? I have no idea, but I have never gotten the app to work for me. So every 90 days, we have to take like a 1-hour drive to Nakhon Phanom and do a physical face-to-face check-in with immigration and submit documents and that sort of thing. It's not that big of a deal. Our local immigration office is actually very friendly and super helpful. Don't mind going there and visiting those people, but it sure would be nice if I could just stay at home and just log in on the app and do my check-in. I don't understand why Thailand can't figure out how to get an app to work. I'm not understanding that, but it's Thailand and you just have to learn to not ask why and just do whatever you need to do to make things work. So that is just one of the things. So it's very different. It is very different. In the US, anybody can basically go handle anything. Everyone's like treated equal, but here there's a different price scale for foreigners compared to Thai people. It's just it's a whole different way of doing things, but if you already go into it knowing this and understanding it, it's not that big a deal. And of course, I'm the one that chose to come here, so those are the things that I basically have to succumb to. Another thing that's very different that took some getting used to is how to get things done here in Thailand. For example, go into the local like municipality office to get an ID card or get a title or get something done like that, and then they ask you for a donation because their office needs A4 paper. I'm not going to say exactly what that is. I'm sure you guys can figure out what that's all about. And so, you know, at first you're kind of like, wow, this is weird, because in the US, nobody would ever ask me to slip them money like that. But here in Thailand, that is basically how it works. And once you do that, things get done, things happen. And that's just the way it is. So that is also something that takes some getting used to. If you get a ticket in the US, for example, you get pulled over for speeding on the freeway, you're going to get a ticket. You're going to probably have to go to court. You're going to have to pay a lot of money. Your insurance company is going to ding you severely for getting that speeding ticket. Here in Thailand, you get pulled over, you hand over your passport or your driver's license and a little bit of pocket money in there. The whole thing goes away and you're done and free to go on about your business. It's different. Which do I prefer more? I would rather just handle stuff and just be done with it and not feel all of these repercussions and all of this serious stuff that happens on the back end of it. So once you're used to it, that's just the way things work here, and that's how things get done. So that is quite different. So without turning this video into a pandemic video, Thailand was on the very top of the list for countries that were managing COVID. They were doing a phenomenal job in the beginning. They were very strict about quarantine procedures, and people were actually listening to the guidelines and the orders and everything else. And Thailand felt like a very, very safe place to be during the beginning of the pandemic. Now, as time has gone by, Thailand is failing miserably and dropping down on that list of countries that are managing this pandemic very well. The vaccine rollout is horrible. There is just way too many advisory groups and government entities that have their hand in it, and it seems like it is preventing anything from getting done. there's just too many people involved in it and nothing is getting done. They have basically invested all their money into a vaccine that is not very good, and now they are apologizing and backtracking and trying to reignite contracts with pharmaceutical companies that in the beginning they said no, we're good, we don't need you, and now all of a sudden Thailand needs those pharmaceutical companies, so now it's basically we're starting again from square one. So the people are having huge difficulties trying to get the vaccine. Getting vaccines that work, the good vaccines, seems like it's impossible. And then me as a foreigner, I'm pushed way on the back burner. So the Thai people have priority over me, and then that's where there's like this total disconnect between humanity here. So it's pretty sad. In the US, I understand anybody can get a vaccine of their choice. There's people here in Thailand that are actually going on vacations, like vaccine vacations, where they're just going back to get vaccinated because the US is vaccinating people for free. So again, I don't want to turn this video into a pandemic video. I know there's a huge arguments between pro and anti-vaccine and all that, and I don't want to make this video about anything like that, but it is a prime example also of how it is as a foreigner living in Thailand. It's difficult when it comes to things like that. But as a U.S. passport holder, a U.S. citizen, I can also fly back and get things handled in the U.S. and then turn around and come right back again. So for that, I can use that to my advantage. But it's like it's every man for himself. You know, everybody just struggles to do whatever it is that they can do for themselves. So luckily for me, I can do something like that. That is an option. So that is about it, you guys. I thought you may find it interesting. 7 months, I guess, in Thailand, giving you my feelings on it. I am very happy that I'm here. I'm glad that I have put some roots in the ground here. I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the low cost of living. I feel like there is far less government in my pocketbook, getting taxed every which way but loose. And it just seems like a much more free way of life here. So I'm enjoying it. I am adjusting to retirement. And that is about it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.